Welcome to Wise Heads, where we bring experienced specialists into the conversation to share practical thinking that helps businesses make better decisions. This week, I'm delighted to be joined by Principal Commercial Strategist Andy Mitchell. Andy has spent more than 20 years helping tech businesses across New Zealand and Australia find, sharpen, and defend their position in the market. We're going to be unpacking what positioning actually means, why market positioning and brand positioning are so often confused, and what becomes possible when a business gets both right. Andy, thank you for joining me.
Adam, how are you?
Andy, for those who haven't come across you before, tell us a little bit about yourself and the journey that has led you to become so passionate about positioning.
I cut my teeth in global agencies, helping people to buy this, not that, whatever, insert product A to product B. And right the way through my career, it stretches right back to the days when we had sales promotion, which was actually a specific discipline, if you imagine this, in the dim and distant past, which was designed to make you buy the thing. And that whole sense of the behavioral science that sits behind marketing has kept me incredibly enthralled all the way through the years. And eventually here we are later in the day, working in innovation, working and very deeply in the world of commercial strategy and positioning.
What actually is positioning? And it's just one of those big words which you kind of, you get exposed to quite a bit. Like, what is it?
It's at its simplest and a generic term. This is kind of going back to the 1970s with some couple of very brainy people called Rees and Trout. And they were talking about positioning. We almost invented the concept here about understanding and very deliberately making someone perceive your product in the way that you want them to perceive it. So it's actually not about your product at all in the way it was originally intended, but actually about the perception that your product creates in the mind of your customer. And this is where positioning has evolved, because what positioning really is giving customers the context, the correct context for your product so they can understand it and intuitively know whether it's a product for them or not. So really it's about reaching through into the subconscious understanding of what a product is there to do on every single level, in how much it should cost, what it does for me, who else would have it, what people will think of me, and connecting at that very, very instant level so that people know whether to take action or not. We're creating mental shorthand with our positioning that makes us easy to buy. If we don't do the work with positioning up front, we're making it too hard for people to buy. And we all know in this world, it's like we've got choices everywhere that if you don't make it easy to buy, they're going to find something which is.
And what are some signs that business has a positioning problem, even if they're not necessarily aware of what those might be?
If you go back to market positioning problem, then the symptoms actually come across as bad performance. So one of the first questions I ask anybody when I walk in is I need to understand whether they actually have a positioning problem, because 6 times out of 10, it's not positioning that's weak here, but it's performance. So the symptoms of bad positioning are often slow sales. And when a market's moved underneath and competitors have come in, the first symptom, the macro position symptom here, is that the slowing of the sales cycle. So if the sales are slowing, and if your sales team find it difficult to talk about the product, so we know our customers who use our product love us, but new customers can't quite say what it is. Generally speaking, that's bad positioning. So if it's too slow to sell, if it's too hard to explain, generally speaking, these are the first signs that the market might have moved, and there's something's disconnected between what you think your customer really wants from you and what you can give them.
Before you alluded to a term called market positioning, and you also mentioned brand positioning. Those two entities, certainly in my experience, they do get confused quite a lot. What's the difference between those two versions of positioning?
You've come to the nub of this. It's like what I see is a widespread understanding or just misconception about positioning and moving, people thinking about positioning as being the business of words, about explaining something. Generally speaking, these two big positioning exercises that have to be done before you can successfully drive penetration into markets. You have to do your market positioning. Then you have to do your brand positioning. There are two exercises, like, as you say, have become quite conflated. And this leads to, I think, undue pressure on marketing teams to make brand positioning, especially major brand projects, deliver things that a brand cannot deliver. What market positioning is about understanding why a particular customer wants to buy your product. So who exactly is that very specific customer? And what makes them exactly the perfect customer for what you've got, and what the feature set you've got of your products, of your channel and everything else that perfectly fits those needs. What you're doing here with market positioning here is that you're building the different elements of your business model. You're choosing the part of the market that you want to win. You're choosing the product development cycle that matches that. You're choosing the pricing that is going to enable you to be differentiated inside market. You're choosing a channel that lets you reach and to service that customer right. These are all commercial elements. Your market positioning ends up as being the DNA of your business model. It's like we think we can win over here, and we can win here by giving this to that customer. You're choosing not to go anywhere else but to go there, and that's creating the foundations for your business model and how you operate. Once you've done that effectively, then you can work about how you want people to feel about themselves. So fundamentally, the difference between brand and market around this is that one is to do with your back pocket, about your wallet, about how you're going to make money, who's going to give you money, where are they, how much they're going to pay you, and what can you access from that in terms of the size of your market share. Whereas brand positioning is about hearts. Is that what do you want them to feel about being with you? Why do you think that they want to benefit or feel something from you that they can't get from another competitor? Market positioning is that, why would I buy you over the alternative? Whereas brand positioning is, do I want to be associated with you? You have to use brand to differentiate. That doesn't mean that brand positioning is doing the heavy lifting. It just means that you're using that particular element to make you stand out and to make your creative do something which you might not have been doing before. The two are very different. Market positioning has to come first, because those fundamentals that come out of this, the fundamentals of market choice, of product and pricing, get fed into brand to give the correct parameters. The tighter a brand brief is, as you know full well, the better the outcome is and the greater the impact into your market. So it's always back pocket first to do with the commerciality of it, with market positioning, and then top pocket for your heart, or depending which side your top pocket's on top of that, to do with how to create better connections and better emotion.
If you're like me and you've received the odd brief from businesses who are increasingly marketing savvy, and they therefore come to people like us and they say, we want to be distinctive. We want to be perceived as different within our category. What are some of the pitfalls of going straight to an ambition to be seen as distinctive when the reality isn't that that's the truth?
Differentiation isn't always necessary. In fact, it's not always a good thing to do. If we can listen to the noise from social media, we all know that we have to niche down and find a market, and that's all good. But often there's a clamor to be so different that you stand out. We believe that we can sell by standing out. Now, when we stand out, and we try so hard to be different from a comms point of view, look at us. We're avant-garde, we're weird, we're wacky, whatever it is. It's like, as soon as we do that, or when we launch a product that no one knows what it is, right? You think about, wireless headphones when they first started to come. It's like, how do they work? Where are the wires? It's like, so as soon as we do something really novel, or we try really hard through our comms to stand out above all else, we cut connection and understanding with our customers. So customers lose the context of what to do with the product. Now, that's natural when we've got a bit of innovation that happens. So when you've got pure innovation like this, you think about, 10 years ago with the start of wireless headphones coming in, it's like we had to understand what everything was for. It's like, I have a charging case and headphones, I got charged. It's like, I don't know until I know. A large part of the challenge of getting new innovation into market is helping people to be familiar with something which is fundamentally unfamiliar. Likewise, from a comms point of view, when we try to be different from everyone else, we cut that connection and it becomes unfamiliar. And when it's unfamiliar, when anything's unfamiliar, either because of how it comes across or what it actually does for us, in the back of our minds, our brain is working double time trying to work out what is going on. It's like we lose the familiarity. We don't have that intuitive sense of understanding about what it's for. Now, when anybody sees an AirPods case, or from any other brand anywhere else, it's like, you know what it is? It's a charging case. Intuitively, we know what it is. We know what to do with it. We know how much to pay for it. We know how long it's going to last. It's like we don't think about that. It's already hardwired. And familiarity is such an important part of the sales process. Familiarity, context, category context is so important. So even with something that's very, very new, it's so important to make sure that you're not losing that familiarity. Otherwise, you're having to over-explain, which takes too long to sell, too much investment in comms required, and often your sales will stall before you can even hit a break-even point, and often projects end up getting gassed because they can never make it. So setting the context really clearly, deciding up front, even for a completely novel product, what category are we in, as a primary decision, is at the heart of positioning. Category choice is like, for my customer, what do I want them to believe this sits next to? Because a product does not sit in isolation. If I'm in the supermarket and I'm trying to buy some baked beans, I know the category that baked beans sits in. I know what to do with it. I might not like baked beans or I might love them. It doesn't really matter, but I understand what to do with them. And that's been built up over years after years after years. So when we try to be different, people don't understand what to compare with us. They don't understand whether you're expensive or whether you're cheap. They don't understand whether this is good value. They don't understand whether people are going to laugh at me for buying it. If I didn't understand what beans were for and I picked up a can in Woolworths, I'd be feeling self-conscious. It's like I've put them in my basket and go, are people going to judge me for having these beans? Thankfully not. Everyone loves a can of beans, but you know what I mean? It's like the context here, the category context is so important. So when we strive for differentiation, because we believe that's the way to stand out, we stand out by being different, we're missing the points. We should stand out inside a competitor set that the customer understands. I can have my baked beans standing out in a competitor set that is beans and spaghetti, because I know that's what the kids might want to eat. Beans or spaghetti, that's the competitive set for it. I can stand out in that set. I don't want to stand out in a set bigger than that because then I don't know what to do with the product. So differentiation for its own point is often a bit of a fool's errand. It means that we spend a lot of time and energy trying to be something which makes us harder to understand. When we're hard to understand, when our positioning is off, we're expecting the customer to spend valuable nanoseconds or even minutes or even hours, if you're talking about a big purchase, understanding us. And if you do that, you're missing the opportunity. You're missing the need to get people to know what you are and what you mean to them and how you relate to them straight away. If we do that every time, if customers understand the context that we're in, if they understand the category, that's 2/3 of your comms work done intuitively. It means that you can focus on the things that make you different, the things that are defendable, the things that make you stand out all alone. So if that makes sense, it's like the concepts, the difference of being defendable and being different. Being different doesn't matter. Being defendable does.
So in terms of something that every business perhaps listening to this or watching this right now could ask themselves directly without any external help, it would be answering the question what we are and who we're for and agreeing that as a starting point.
Yeah, fundamentally, yeah. It's like, because it's a universal expression of where you want to sit in the market. Understanding who you're for means understanding your market. It means resegmenting your market in a way that is meaningful. It means looking for adjacent markets that can be accessed to your current product or your next product, depending on what you've got in your innovation pipeline. But the fundamentals are always the same. Understand your customer, understand your market, understand your competitors. At a very high level, are quite simple conversations to have. So we need to understand our competitors, understand our customers, and understand our product and our innovation to see, what's coming next and how does that impact what we can take to the market. These are all fundamental drivers of commercial strategy and fundamental drivers of marketing strategy, but they're all the elements of your position. It helps to come back and that sense of naivety that comes with that question, I am for who? Bring it back to that highest level. And that's quiet down the noise, takes away the complexity. I find it really, really helps to wind back to get to the heart of it, the heart of the business model, and find the quiet in the heart of that, and then recommit. That's what business is, selling a thing to a person. It's the very, very essence of everybody's business model. Everybody in every business everywhere in the world today can sit down and do that exercise. And that's kind of cool because it's this fundamental thing underneath everybody's business. And if you don't take the time to do it, your customers will. They will position you in a way that you don't want them to do it. And then you've got to work harder, spend more money, more time to get them back on track again. Comms is a tool, but success only comes when comms is delivering exactly that beautiful product market fit expressed with a brand that's been positioned to make me really want to be associated with it. Once we've got that all aligned, you're home.
If there was just one thing from this week's conversation that you would hope people kind of, remember and sort of endures with them, what might that be?
That basically, if this might be the only person on your podcast to say, remember the fingers, try this, go to someone in your business and ask them the question, like, I am for who, repeat that back to you. What's your product? Who's it for? Go and do that one thought, go and do it for yourself and do it for others around you, and look for how different the answers are. So rather than one thing to think about, one thing to do, go and do that exercise around your business. Who are you selling to and what are you selling, and see how wide the spread of answers are. The more coherent it is, the better you're doing. The more diverse, the more work's got to be done to try to bring it together. So you've got that magic consistency that helps you build amazing products that absolutely delights that particular customer you got in mind.